Good morning, KOTA territory. Welcome back to another DIY Friday Delights. I'm your host, Mimi Herrick, and today I'm with Rachel Cormier, one of our wonderful morning producers. Rachel, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. All right, now today we are making these bookmarks out of some scrapbooking material, and basically all of this we just got for under $20 yesterday. And how we're going to be doing everything is cutting out little pieces of the scrapbook stuff and making it into these wonderful cardstock bookmarks. Mine already has some Mod Podge on it because when I was opening the Mod Podge, I got it all over myself. So be careful, it is sticky, but you do have 24 hours to get it off before it fully seals. Rachel, what are you thinking for your bookmark today? What's our inspiration?
I'm seeing a lot of summer in Venice vibes,
Okay.
but I saw we were eyeing a typewriter sticker, and my English major side just sort of took over. I think honestly I might grab that, and I see we have little stickers like butterflies, bird cages, flowers. I think a lot of creativity. I think I can work with those.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the English major thing, which is one of my questions for you, but you were an English major. Can you kind of tell me about why you chose that and what you originally wanted to do if it wasn't journalism?
So English sort of came naturally to me. That's a fun way to say it. I'd say if anything, writing came naturally to me. I'm gonna grab the.
Oh yeah.
Hey, actually, can I grab your scissors really quick?
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, I stole them.
Thank you. I think writing always came easily to me, whether when I was from elementary school to even just high school level. But it was always essays. I have to say my high school didn't have the best creative writing program. I remember signing up for that in high school, and the second class would never run. It would always get 3 people, low enrollment, and then it would get canceled. So it was around college time, and actually high school, I'm sorry, I'm jumping forward, that my school did offer a journalism program, and that was sort of my first avenue out of kind of expanding a writing career.
Okay,
And
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I mean, you also do a lot of writing as a producer, and you have kind of an interesting schedule. So for those who don't know, Rachel is one of our morning producers, and she has to get here at midnight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. How do you deal with all that?
So that is one of my favorite conversation starters. Anyone who doesn't know me, it's a great way to be just a nice equalizer. So around the time that I get ready for work is, I want to say 11 p.m. And
Wow.
it takes me about 30 minutes to an hour to get ready, and then I'm driving to the studio around midnight. And
Wow.
I've told people that the best way that I've sort of figured it out is that their 9 to 5 is when I sleep. And so
Okay.
my 9 to 5 is when they sleep.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting for sure. And producing is also an interesting job that not a lot of people really get to see sort of the behind the scenes of. Could you kind of walk me through your day-to-day? What do you do?
Yeah, so I would say that my job involves everything from the graphics you see on camera to the words that the anchor says. So everything I do is what you see rather than, and sometimes about what you hear. But it's Kate's face that I sort of get to help with. And now it's going to be actually yours.
Yeah. I'm really excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Honestly, the morning team and the morning shows are a ton of fun. We always have a blast, I would say. And so obviously just getting outside of the whole work thing, what do you like to do for fun?
I would say, so funny story, I'm actually part of 2 different martial art groups, and that is not something I carried when I moved to South Dakota. It is
Really?
something I grabbed within the first month of living here, and that is because my partner's family actually is very martial arts oriented. And so when I was unemployed and looking for something to do with my time, they were join martial arts.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. What would you say is the most challenging part about doing martial arts?
I think I moved here very quickly after college, and so I told myself that I was gonna go to the gym and work out, but I really didn't. And so I was actually just getting active and suddenly being active again in my life. I finally had that control, and it was also having no martial art experience whatsoever. It's kind of every female wants to take a self-defense course.
Yes.
But if it doesn't happen, or it's on a consistent basis, or I've never had any of that training. So it was learning a lot of steps for the first time, and then eventually being good at it to the point where it's I could teach someone else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that sounds definitely like a lot of fun. I've always wanted to take a self-defense class. You are right. That is something that a lot of people want to try out. Besides that, what would you say is like your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. I would say it might have to be food, actually. I've sort of fallen in love with the food scene in South Dakota. Originally, when I wasn't sure if I was actually gonna like find a journalism career out here, my partner suggested I start a food blog, and that's where the creative writing was gonna kick in somehow. But I ended up sort of like, there's like a good ramen scene here, actually, but South Dakota had just introduced soju to its population. Soju is a Korean alcohol.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had never tried it before. Were very beer whiskey oriented out here. And so my possible first blog was gonna get people introduced to soju because it's a very popular Illinois college drink.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask, a lot of us are still doing like, doing the usual mics and the usual this, but like soju is one that's like, it had come out like 3 months in like last summer. So people were very like new to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, soju is definitely a very interesting and fun one. And so with that creative writing, you have kind of talked to me a little bit about, you know, being passionate and doing that as well outside of work. Is there anything you can share about any projects you're working on now?
Secret secrets.
Secret, okay.
I would say, well, actually, I say that, but I've tried to get back into creative writing. I personally have this like goal of eventually, is this a sticker or is it sort of like a placeholder?
It's like for these sort of things that we're using here, we have these little paper ones and then stickers. It is just paper cardstock, I think. So I'm trying to glue mine together. It's kind of getting a little bit not sticking, but the Mod Podge will seal everything down. So don't you worry if you're following along at home.
I like your design. Mine currently is about as
Oh, I like that.
I appreciate that. I think I should need to use more glue.
Yeah, definitely. I just put it all over. It dries clear.
Better than
so,
glue, okay.
The more glue you use, the more sort of it's going to be sealed down. I'm just kind of trying to get everything a base layer right now so that when it does seal down, it is nice and shiny also, because we bought the shiny kind yesterday.
That's nice. So that means I got to use a lot more glue.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, don't be shy with the glue, especially in projects like this where you want to be able to use it and love it forever. So Mod Podge is a great thing for that because it will seal down pretty much anything to any surface, I have learned in all of my time with using it and crafting. So it's definitely a lot of fun. You know, what would you say is sort of your favorite TV show right now? You watching anything good?
Favorite TV show. So I recently was binging the series Invincible with at home, and it is basically a series on Amazon. It's pretty popular, pretty well known. It's a superhero animated series. That's based off a comic book, and I had no prior knowledge watching it. But I would say like a lot of great animated scenes, a lot of action, really interesting plot because I like the way that it integrates sort of a superhero society, but also like a natural American world. It's set place in America, and your main character is a high school teenager who just got his powers. And
oh, that's cool.
Usually, and the thing is though, it's a superhero-based society, so people are used to seeing them like fighting crime, people are used to villains, and yet there's still like a normalcy. And I really appreciate that compared to shows like The Boys, where it's like they found like super villainy sort of runs amok, or it's like an anime, My Hero Academia, where it's like it's almost like you can make a career out of it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good show. It kind of reminds me, do you remember that one Disney Channel movie that was, what was it called? Like superhero?
Wait, Sky High?
Yes, Sky High. It kind of reminds me of that, like when you're talking about it. Does it have those sort of vibes?
The 2000s kids know this. I would say kind of yes. Rather than like, yes, Secret Identity, but it's like because the main character is interacting with both superhero people and like normal people so much. It's not much of the Secret Identity that's the main point of the show. It's sort of what he does and like the moralities behind using powers and stuff. So very close actually, kind of.
Yeah, I do really like stuff like that too, because it's like kind of fantasy, but like kind of not, and kind of, you know, I can't find the right word. Low fantasy, that's what the genre is called, low fantasy. I do really like that, you know, like where it's set in our world, but like with some additional fun and magic, I think can be, you know, just a really fun way. All right, so when you get to the final step, when you're all decorated, which I'm feeling pretty good about my decorations right here, you're gonna wanna make sure that you cover this entire thing in Mod Podge so that everything seals down. And so you want everything to be sealed nice and well. And then the thing with Mod Podge is it takes 24 hours to be fully dry. So once you are done Mod Podging everything all together, you're gonna have to leave it alone. You can't go ahead and use it as a bookmark right away because you're gonna glue the pages of your book together if you do that. And we don't want that to happen. So yeah, it'll be pretty easy. Rachel, is there anything else you wanna talk about before we wrap up here?
I don't believe so, but I've sort of, if anyone doesn't know, I'm a bit new to Rapid City still. I like to say that, but it actually has been like around almost a year now.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. At this point, when you start to reach that year mark, it's like, what has changed?
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed the scene here. It's coming from Illinois, the northern Illinois area, like it's a really big change, but I really like the scenery.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me again on here on DIY Friday Delights. Make sure you tune in next Friday. We'll see you next week. Bye.